Welcome to the DG Outdoors channel. In today's video, I had a very interesting morning on the air rifle squirrel hunt that I went on. Let's just say, number one, I locked my keys in my car, and I had to call the sheriff's department to come help me get the keys out of my trunk. After I'd been hunting a little while, my feet got cold, and I went to switch out my boots, and I set my keys in my trunk by accident, and I guess I forgot to grab them before I went out there. So, before we get into all that story, y'all, we're going to start from the beginning. Okay. So first things first, I got out there, I was trying to film the hunt on the 8-man action camera, and I'm walking through the woods and everything. And I've got a clip here that I'm going to show you guys here in a second of that hunt. But right now, we're going to talk about the story. Okay. So I get out there, right when I step out of the car, I see a squirrel. And I'd already seen a deer and 2 squirrels driving up there, so I knew this was going to be a good hunt. So I get out of the car, and I see a squirrel up in a tree. No big deal. I haven't got the camera out or anything. So I start walking down Trail 19 like I did on some my other hunting video, and I see 2 squirrels. And it sounds so loud in the woods because everything's dry. So they're like leaping through the woods and everything, Didn't get a shot at them. So I went up to where I was crossbow hunting at, and I'm like, there was a huge squirrel here the last time. I'm pretty sure I'll see him. So I get up there, and I stop, and I can see the squirrel far off. And so I hit the camera, and as I'm hitting the camera, I notice 3 deer that walk right in front of me. Just real slow, like, walk in front of me. And I turn, and at this time, I think I'm filming, okay? I turn, and there's a squirrel. So I have the Chinese B3-1 me, and I shoot at the squirrel. It's like, pop! And the deer run off and circle back around me while the squirrel runs up the tree, and I shoot at it again, and I miss it. I check the camera footage. It didn't record. So I kind of got frustrated, but at the same time, I was having the time of my life. It was one of the best squirrel hunts I'd been in a long time, especially on Martin State Forest, I knew there was a lot of squirrels out there because I had seen them out there before. So I walk up the hills a little ways, and I turn around, and there's this down log with a hole in the middle. And I see this little head pop up, little squirrel head pop up, and I bear down on that bead. I'm like, pink, and I miss it. So, then I'm going to walk back down the hill. My feet are starting to get cold. I had worn my tan desert military boots and wool socks, because at first my feet were warm. And I had left my 1,200 gram Ithaca mud boots in the trunk of the car. So as I'm walking up the hill, May 98's on break, and so I call her and I talk to her. And this is where it gets kind of funny. I had said, you know what? At least if there's a emergency, I get good signal out here. If I had to call 911. And she's like, well, dear, you do know that even without signal, there's emergency calls only. You can still call the sheriff's department. I was like, yeah, okay, And I'm like, I hope I never have to call them. The moment I get up to the car, I pop the trunk. I must have set my boots in there along with my keys and didn't realize it. Put my new boots on, shut the trunk. I go to reach for my keys to unlock because I've got a Diet Coke in the car. I'm thirsty. I don't have my keys. 2 seconds before that, I was just talking to Mamie 98 on the phone. So I call her, and she's like, let me try to get a hold of my roommate. Maybe her dad can come and help you. Her dad doesn't know me. So, she called him. He doesn't want to help, whatever. So I called the sheriff's department, and one of the nicest lady officers came out. And they had that little puffer bag. And I would have got all this on camera if my backpack that's holding the action camera wasn't in my trunk with everything else. So I've got some footage from the hunt that I'm going to put in this video somewhere. But, I had a very interesting morning. And I don't know why, but things like that always happen to me. I had mentioned about having an emergency. And then that happened with my car keys. I'm 30 minutes away from where my girlfriend lives, who is at work, who will not be able to help me. Her roommate doesn't drive. So I had no other options. Now here's the funny thing. May 98 always gives me a hard time about being small. And don't ever give me a hard time about being small anymore. Because once we got the door pried open, the alarm started going off. Well, I'm thinking I could push that little button underneath the console that's going to pop the trunk open. That doesn't happen. So I have to reach behind me and unlock the back door. Okay. And then I had to crawl through the little center console piece to reach the pop latch in the trunk, because the trunk had my crossbow in it, a bunch of other stuff, y'all. And it was a pretty interesting squirrel hunt. I saw deer, I saw a bunch of squirrels, you know, and then I ended up locking my keys in my car, you know. So, y'all, I just wanted to tell you this story. I'm glad I didn't have to sit there all day in the cold, because my gloves were also in there. You know, at least my phone is fully charged. That's another thing, y'all. If you guys go hunting, safety tips: always dress in layers. You guys can take them off later. I always bring extra stuff with me. You know, make sure your phone's fully charged for emergencies. You know, I had a hat on me. I shoved it in there. I had a backpack that had, like, things, but I had just taken off my fingerless gloves to put them in the trunk because I was taking my boots off. I don't know what I was thinking. But I will never lock my keys in my car again. I got lucky. The sheriff's department came with the little, looks like a blood pressure cuff. You pop it up, they put a wedge in there, and then they just pop the door open. I'm so thankful to the Martin County Sheriff's Department for helping me out today. You know, I didn't have to sit there all day till someone could come and help me, and I was pretty much, luckily, right by the road where I park, and I don't wander that far off into the woods. I was just really thirsty, and my Diet Coke from McDonald's was in the car. So, y'all, this was just a funny story. I hope somewhere in this video I could have put some pieces of the hunt that I had filmed. But y'all, that's how my squirrel hunting adventure went. You know, I've been lost in the woods once, and I found my way out. This, I would have been sitting there for a long time if someone would have came and helped me. So y'all remember, like, comment, subscribe. You guys can laugh at this video. Jesus loves you, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.